Have you ever replayed a conversation with a woman in your mind, wishing you'd said nothing or something completely different? Maybe you tried to be helpful, only to realize you overstepped. Perhaps you thought you were showing care, but it came across as neediness. These moments can sting, because on some level, you know they cost you respect, and more importantly, they cost you the genuine connection you crave. What if you could navigate these interactions with confidence and calm? What if you knew exactly which behaviors lift you up, and which ones quietly undermine your value? Today, you'll discover 8 critical habits to leave behind, so you can become the man who commands respect not through force or bravado, but through steady, stoic self-respect. This isn't about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about aligning your actions with your inner worth, so every word you speak and every move you make reflects a man who honors himself first. You'll learn why making her your entire world can hollow out your own, and how placing her on a pedestal can lower you both. You'll see why seeking validation sounds like weakness, and why over-apologizing chips away at your confidence. You'll understand the power of healthy absence, concise honesty, and calm composure in moments of tension. Each of these 8 points is rooted in timeless Stoic principles, wisdom that has guided leaders, thinkers, and ordinary men through challenges for centuries. Like Marcus Aurelius reminding himself to find strength in his own flame, not in the approval of others. Or Seneca urging us to endure adversity as a path to true resilience. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear blueprint for how to honor yourself first, so that respect, attraction, and authentic connection follow naturally and effortlessly. If you've ever regretted a misstep or felt the frustration of trying hard but falling short, stay with me. Prepare to shift your mindset, reclaim your confidence, and emerge as the kind of man whose presence speaks volumes without shouting. Let's begin this journey together. Part 1. Losing yourself. When she becomes your whole world. Think back to a time when you found someone truly special. In those early moments, the excitement was magnetic. Your heart raced, your thoughts revolved around her, and gradually, without even noticing, you started reshaping your world to orbit hers. You may have believed you were honoring her, cherishing her, making her feel incredibly special. But then one day you paused and felt a quiet unease. Somehow, along the way, you had lost sight of yourself. This is where many good men stumble, not out of malice, but out of deep sincerity and affection. You invest so intensely, placing her happiness at the heart of your purpose, that your identity, your passions, your dreams, your very sense of self begins to fade. Your mission, once vibrant and full of drive, now becomes overshadowed by her approval and presence. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Reflect on these words. Aurelius reminds us that true strength lies not in placing your peace of mind in external hands, but rather in cultivating an inner resolve, one independent of anyone else's validation or presence. Your power emerges from within. When your entire world revolves around another person, you relinquish this internal strength, allowing her moods, reactions, and opinions to dictate your peace and happiness. Consider the cautionary tale of a man we'll call James. James was successful, passionate, and ambitious until he met someone remarkable. Initially, their connection was profound, fulfilling his desire for companionship. But gradually, James began to drift from his own path. He canceled appointments with friends, put aside personal goals, and reshaped his ambitions around her life. At first, this brought joy, but slowly, resentment began to surface, both within himself and in her perception of him. Without the anchor of his own purpose, James had become hollow, predictable, and overly dependent. Eventually, she found him less interesting, less vibrant. The attraction, built on mutual respect and admiration, started to crumble. What went wrong here was not the depth of his affection, but rather the depth of his dependence. She became his entire emotional universe, leaving him with no ground beneath his feet when she inevitably pulled away. Epictetus, another timeless Stoic teacher, reminds us clearly, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you tie your happiness entirely to someone else, you surrender control over your own freedom. Your joy, fulfillment, and confidence now hinge upon another person's actions and moods. You become reactive rather than proactive, a passive participant in your own life rather than the captain of your ship. So, how can you reclaim your inner strength? First, remember that a woman should complement your life, not define it. Your passions, ambitions, and dreams should not diminish when you meet someone you love. They should be magnified. She should see you driven by purpose, grounded in your values, and inspired by your own growth. Second, regularly revisit your personal mission. What are your core values? What excites you, challenges you, makes you proud? Do not abandon these for anyone. Cherish and pursue them, and invite her to join you on this path. A man deeply engaged in his purpose naturally attracts respect, admiration, and genuine affection. Finally, cultivate self-respect through independence. Allow yourself moments of solitude, times to reflect and grow without external validation. Embrace your own company. Find strength in your own approval. A man comfortable in his solitude is deeply powerful because his strength does not rely on others. It emerges from within. You deserve a connection built on mutual respect and admiration, a relationship that enhances your life rather than consuming it. You deserve to be seen, cherished, and respected, not because you gave up everything you are, but precisely because you remain true to yourself. The next time you find yourself slipping into the trap of losing your identity for someone else, pause and remember this Stoic wisdom. Realize that the most attractive, powerful version of you is the one that honors himself first, without compromise or hesitation. Let this realization guide you. Let it gently remind you of who you truly are. For in discovering and holding on to your authentic self, you will unlock deeper relationships, greater respect, and a life full of purpose and joy. Part 2. The elevation trap. Avoid putting her on a pedestal. Think about the last time you truly admired someone, a woman whose charm, intelligence, or beauty captivated you so deeply, you felt an urge to elevate her above everyone else, even yourself. Perhaps unknowingly, you placed her on a pedestal, thinking you were honoring her, when in reality, you were creating distance. You see, the moment you elevate someone beyond human reality, you diminish your own worth in the process. Your intentions are sincere, yet paradoxically, this approach undermines the very respect and connection you seek. This phenomenon, the elevation trap, has ensnared countless men, often without them even realizing it. You believe you're being attentive, respectful, even chivalrous. Yet what you're truly doing is quietly sabotaging your own power and attraction. Stoicism, a timeless guide to balanced living, offers profound insights to help you avoid this subtle pitfall. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Reflect upon these words. When you place a woman on a pedestal, you're surrendering your sense of worth and freedom to external validation. You begin to see her approval as your ultimate goal, her happiness as your ultimate mission, and her slightest dissatisfaction becomes your personal failure. This perspective doesn't uplift your relationship, it weakens it. Relationships thrive when both partners see each other as equals, walking side by side, not as idol and admirer. Consider an ancient story, a gentle reminder from mythology that resonates deeply today: the tale of Pygmalion. Pygmalion was a gifted sculptor who carved a statue so perfect, so stunningly beautiful, that he fell deeply in love with it. He worshipped this statue, placing it above all others. Yet his devotion only led to despair and emptiness. His creation, however flawless, remained silent stone, unable to reciprocate genuine human affection or companionship. This ancient tale holds a critical lesson. When you idolize, you lose the possibility of real connection. Real love, authentic respect, arises from seeing each other clearly, accepting each other's humanity, imperfections and all. Your admiration for a woman should never transform her into an unreachable ideal. She is human, complex, beautiful, imperfect, just like you. Recognizing her humanity, not elevating her above it, is the key to genuine intimacy and respect. Now consider this wisdom from Marcus Aurelius. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When your thoughts constantly revolve around how perfect or superior she is, your own sense of self subtly shifts. You begin viewing yourself through a lens of inadequacy, quietly questioning your worthiness, seeking her constant approval. Your actions become hesitant, overly cautious, afraid of mistakes that could disturb her image of you. This loss of confidence and self-assurance is what ultimately erodes attraction and mutual respect. Instead, strive for balance, compliment sincerely, yet without exaggeration. Admire genuinely, without worshiping. Appreciate deeply, but remain grounded. This balanced approach doesn't diminish your admiration, it enriches it. It transforms mere infatuation into true, meaningful respect. Let's explore a healthier mindset. Value yourself first. You are inherently worthy, valuable, and deserving of respect. Not because she validates you, but because you validate yourself. This inner assurance makes you naturally more attractive, commanding a respect that pedestalizing never could. Women are drawn to men who see them clearly and truthfully, who can appreciate without worshiping, who love without losing themselves. Here's a gentle yet powerful exercise. Every time you catch yourself placing someone on a pedestal, remind yourself of your own inherent value. Remind yourself that your worth is not contingent on anyone else's perception, approval, or acceptance. Affirm your strengths, embrace your imperfections, and walk confidently in your own truth. By cultivating this internal strength, you'll discover that relationships naturally become more balanced, honest, and deeply fulfilling. Remember, placing someone on a pedestal is not a sign of profound respect. It's often a hidden expression of insecurity. True respect comes from recognizing both your strengths and hers, from walking together in mutual understanding, mutual appreciation, and mutual empowerment. As you move forward, Consciously choose to stand side by side rather than gazing upwards. This small yet powerful shift will transform your relationships, fostering deeper connections, mutual respect, and genuine affection. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics. Recognize her humanity, affirm your own worth, and step confidently away from the elevation trap. The result will be relationships defined by authenticity, balance, and enduring respect. Part 3. Silence your need. Stop seeking validation. Think back to a time when you found yourself craving approval from someone important to you. Perhaps you waited anxiously for a text message, hoping for reassurance, or found yourself repeatedly asking, "Are we okay?" or "Do you still care about me?" Each time you did this, you unknowingly handed over a piece of your self-worth, placing it in someone else's hands. It's a subtle surrender, quiet yet profound, and every time you felt a little less powerful, a little less certain of who you truly are. This habit of constantly seeking validation can feel harmless, even natural. After all, we all desire acceptance. But here's the secret. Seeking approval outside of yourself diminishes the respect others have for you. It whispers insecurity, drains attraction, and ultimately distances you from genuine connection. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely cautioned us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Take a moment to truly absorb these words. What Marcus Aurelius reveals is a fundamental truth. Every time you chase validation from someone else, you're placing their opinion above your own self-worth. You're saying, perhaps unconsciously, "Your judgment about me matters more than my judgment about myself." Imagine, for a moment, a man who stands confidently in his truth. He walks into a room knowing exactly who he is. He speaks calmly, moves with purpose, and lives guided by inner principles, not by fleeting opinions or external praise. Such a man doesn't need validation. He validates himself. And because of this, others naturally feel drawn to his quiet strength, sensing his inner certainty, wanting to share in the powerful calm he exudes. There's a beautiful ancient tale about Alexander the Great meeting the philosopher Diogenes. Alexander, ruler of empires, accustomed to lavish praise and constant validation, approached Diogenes, who was resting comfortably in the sunlight. Alexander, impressed yet slightly baffled by Diogenes' disregard for him, asked if there was anything he could do for the humble philosopher. Diogenes simply responded, "Yes, step aside, you're blocking my sunlight." In that moment, Alexander realized something profound. Despite all his power and fame, Diogenes did not seek nor need his validation or approval. Diogenes' quiet confidence spoke louder than any words, and Alexander famously remarked, "If I were not Alexander, I would wish to be Diogenes." Reflect deeply on this story. When you chase validation, you position yourself below others, waiting for their approval. But when you confidently stand rooted in your own inner truth, free from the desperate need to be validated, you inspire natural respect and admiration from others. You become like Diogenes, at ease with who you are, needing no external praise to affirm your worth. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, teaches us, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." At first, this might seem strange or uncomfortable. Yet, Epictetus encourages you to embrace your true self unapologetically, even if it means others don't always understand or approve. The power behind this wisdom is simple but transformative. When you no longer depend on the validation of others, you free yourself from their judgments, and you become truly powerful. You become authentic, strong, and quietly compelling. Imagine yourself at your best, calm, composed, and deeply centered. You no longer ask, "Am I enough?" because you already know the answer. You no longer anxiously wonder if others approve, because your own self-respect is sufficient. You walk through life confident in your decisions, peaceful in your thoughts, and magnetic in your presence. You might wonder, how do you practically silence this need for validation? Start by recognizing that validation seeking is a habit, not an inherent part of you. Every time you feel the urge rising within, pause and gently ask yourself, whose validation am I really looking for? Often you'll realize the answer is your own. Then remind yourself, I approve of me. I respect me. That is enough. This simple practice, repeated over time, builds your inner fortress, brick by brick, until your self-worth becomes unshakable. Stoicism invites you to become your own greatest ally. It urges you to reclaim the power you have unknowingly given away, reminding you that your value is not found in someone else's approval, but in your own courageous embrace of who you truly are. As you embark on this journey, remember the quiet strength of Diogenes, the deep insight of Marcus Aurelius, and the liberating wisdom of Epictetus. Hold on to their lessons and let your need for external validation gently fade into silence. The respect you seek from others begins first within yourself. When you master this internal validation, your relationships naturally transform. They become authentic, respectful, and deeply meaningful, not because you demanded validation, but because you no longer needed it. Part 4. Boundaries of Self-Worth. Ditch excessive apologies. Pause for a moment and reflect on how many times you've apologized this week. Not just for the genuine mistakes you've made, but also for small things, trivial things, even things entirely outside your control. Have you caught yourself saying, "Sorry to bother you," or "Sorry if I'm being annoying," even when you've done nothing wrong? Each unnecessary apology chips away at your confidence, quietly signaling to others and to yourself that your presence is somehow inconvenient or undeserving. It's a subtle habit, yet profoundly impactful on how others perceive you, and most importantly, how you perceive yourself. Stoic philosophy, at its core, teaches the virtue of self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Embedded within this profound simplicity is the key to reclaiming your dignity. Aurelius urges you to speak and act intentionally, rooted firmly in truth and self-awareness. Not from a place of constant self-doubt or perceived inferiority. Excessive apologizing suggests an internal narrative that you are perpetually wrong or undeserving. Yet Stoicism offers a gentle reminder that dignity and self-respect stem from an internal recognition of your worth. Consider this. Every unnecessary apology places you slightly below the person you're speaking with, even if unconsciously. It subtly communicates that your needs, your voice, your very existence somehow requires justification, The truth is, your worthiness as a person doesn't need constant defense or validation. It is innate. unquestionable, and undeniable. Seneca, another luminous Stoic voice, famously advised, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Take this wisdom deeply into your heart. Excessive apologizing is precisely this, a form of unnecessary suffering. It's a burden you impose on yourself, weighing down your interactions, clouding your strength, and obscuring your authenticity. It invites others inadvertently to doubt your strength and resolve. Think of a historical example: the Spartans, renowned for their concise speech and resolute demeanor. Legend speaks of a Spartan messenger sent to Philip II of Macedon. Philip threatened, boasting, "If I invade Sparta, I will level it to the ground." The Spartans replied with a single word: "If." In their terse response, no apology or excessive justification was necessary. They stood firm, secure in their strength and self-respect. This brief exchange symbolizes the clarity and confidence Stoicism seeks to instill within you. Now, how can you embrace this Spartan-like confidence in your everyday life? Start by noticing when you're about to apologize unnecessarily. Next time you begin a conversation or send a text, pause and consider. Am I genuinely at fault here, or is this just a reflexive response born from insecurity or habit? Replace habitual apologies with confident, concise statements. Instead of "sorry to take your time," simply say, "Thanks for taking the time." Rather than "Sorry, can I ask you something?" calmly ask, "Can I have a moment?" This small shift feels minor, but deeply reshapes your inner narrative from one of doubt to one of strength. Epictetus beautifully captures this concept when he reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom lies in your ability to master your self-perception and the language you use about yourself. Apologizing constantly is a form of subtle self-abandonment. Reclaiming your dignity is taking back that control. It's choosing to present yourself honestly, respectfully, and with quiet strength. Imagine yourself at your strongest, most confident state. Your words measured, your presence respected. People listen when you speak, not because you're loud or dominant, but because your calm self-assurance demands their attention. Your silence carries weight, your words carry clarity, and your apologies, when genuine, carry profound sincerity. This is the essence of Stoic power, not arrogant or boastful, simply secure and authentic. In this journey toward deeper self-respect, remember, meaningful apologies have their place. Stoicism doesn't teach stubbornness or pride. It teaches discernment. Genuine apologies show strength and character. It's the habitual, needless apologies that dilute their value, making it difficult for you and others to distinguish genuine humility from habitual insecurity. Picture your interactions infused with dignity and genuine confidence. When you stop diminishing your value through unnecessary apologies, you begin to radiate inner strength. Relationships naturally deepen, people instinctively respect you more, and you begin to experience life with a quiet certainty that you may not have known before. So from today onward, let your speech reflect your inner worth. Apologize sincerely when you've genuinely erred. But otherwise, stand firmly, calmly, and respectfully in your truth. Remember Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. Remember the Spartan messenger. Above all, remember your inherent dignity. Your self-worth is not something you must constantly defend. It is something you quietly and confidently embody. Part 5. The Power of Rarity. Stop being always available. Take a moment and think deeply about the last time you were always there for someone. Instantly replying to texts, saying yes to every invitation, and continuously bending your schedule to accommodate them. Did it bring you closer, or did you feel gradually taken for granted? More importantly, did it enhance your sense of self-worth, or chip away at it? We often believe that by being constantly available, we demonstrate care and devotion. Yet paradoxically, this well-meaning habit can diminish your value in the eyes of others and, crucially, in your own eyes. You see, when you're always present, your presence becomes ordinary, expected, something to be overlooked rather than appreciated. It's only human to value what feels scarce, rare, and unique. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher king, wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." At first glance, this may seem to encourage constant presence, yet consider it deeply. Aurelius didn't mean you should always be at someone else's beck and call. Instead, he urges you to immerse yourself fully and authentically into the present moment of your own life. Focusing your attention on your goals, passions, and values. Your time is limited, precious, and incredibly valuable. When you choose carefully where and how you invest it, you naturally elevate your self-worth. There's an ancient tale about a wise Stoic master and his eager student. The student constantly sought his master's counsel, knocking on his door day and night, believing that being ever present would earn respect and wisdom. One evening, after persistent knocking, the master gently opened the door and said quietly, "My dear student, it is not the frequency of your visits, but the sincerity and depth of your purpose that counts." Rarely seen stars captivate us more than the sun we take for granted. This simple yet powerful lesson illustrates why rarity creates value. Why your availability should be given intentionally, selectively, and meaningfully. Seneca echoes this profound wisdom, stating, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Reflect on these words deeply. Every moment you spend compulsively available to someone else is time that slips through your fingers. Time you could be dedicating to cultivating yourself, strengthening your character, pursuing your passions, and mastering your skills. By making yourself selectively available, you protect your energy, your dignity, and your inner peace. When you're always available, the underlying message you unconsciously send is that your time has little worth. But when you choose deliberately when to engage and when to withdraw, your time becomes valuable, sought after, and respected. This shift doesn't mean playing games or being intentionally distant. It means genuinely respecting your own life enough to prioritize it. Epictetus captures this idea beautifully when he advises, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This principle is foundational. Define clearly what kind of person you aspire to become, a person of value, respect, and dignity, and then structure your actions accordingly. If you wish others to value your presence, first value yourself enough to create boundaries around your time. It's a quiet, dignified act of self-respect. Imagine yourself at your strongest and most grounded. You're engaged in activities you love, deeply immersed in projects that fulfill you. When others invite your time and attention, you carefully weigh your priorities, choosing to engage only when it aligns with your values and genuinely adds meaning to your life. This selective availability communicates strength, purpose, and quiet confidence. Let's look at history again. Consider the Roman statesman Cato the Younger, renowned for his discipline and unwavering principles. His rare public appearances and thoughtful speech earned him immense respect and attention whenever he chose to speak or act. He understood the profound value of rarity. He knew that a presence tempered by thoughtful restraint commanded far greater respect than constant availability. Apply this Stoic wisdom practically. Next time you're tempted to immediately respond to a text or instantly accept every invitation, pause. Consider, does this align with who you truly want to be? Will this enhance your life and sense of self-worth? If the answer is no, gracefully decline or simply delay. By doing this, you reclaim your power and assert quietly yet firmly, my time matters. When you choose to be less available, you teach others, and more importantly yourself, that your life is worthy of respect, that your presence is a valuable gift, not an obligation. Ironically, by doing this, you become someone whose company others genuinely desire, someone whose absence is felt deeply, someone whose presence is eagerly anticipated. This is the subtle but immense power of rarity, the deliberate, intentional use of your time and energy. It's about aligning your actions with self-respect and inner clarity. As you embody this philosophy, watch how the world shifts around you, how relationships deepen, and how your inner strength quietly yet unmistakably grows. In embracing selective availability, you're not withholding yourself from the world. Rather, you're fully embracing your authentic self. You're inviting genuine connection, profound respect, and lasting value into every interaction. Remember, your greatest power is not in always being there, but in knowing precisely when your presence truly counts. Part 6. Confidence in simplicity. Skip over-explaining. Have you ever found yourself talking too much, trying to justify your actions or words, only to feel less confident afterward? It's a common experience. You might think that by providing more details, you're clarifying your intentions, but often, over-explaining can have the opposite effect. It can make you seem uncertain or insecure. In Stoic philosophy, clarity and brevity are virtues. The Stoics believed that wisdom is demonstrated not through excessive words, but through thoughtful, concise communication. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advised, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." This quote emphasizes the importance of understanding your thoughts before expressing them. When you speak with clarity and purpose, you project confidence and self-assurance. Consider a situation where someone questions your decision. Instead of launching into a lengthy explanation, a simple and direct response can be more effective. For example, if asked why you didn't attend an event, saying, "I had other commitments," is often sufficient. This approach respects both your time and the other person's, and it conveys confidence in your choices. Over-explaining can sometimes stem from a desire for approval or fear of judgment. However, seeking validation through excessive justification can undermine your self-respect. As Seneca noted, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Applying this to communication, craving approval through over-explaining can make you appear needy, whereas speaking succinctly reflects self-contentment and strength. In relationships especially, concise communication can be powerful. When you express your thoughts clearly and without unnecessary elaboration, you demonstrate trust in yourself and respect for the other person's ability to understand you. This fosters mutual respect and reduces misunderstandings. Moreover, embracing simplicity in speech aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within your control. You can't control how others perceive your words, but you can control how you express them. By choosing your words carefully and avoiding over-explanation, you maintain your composure and integrity. In conclusion, remember that confidence often speaks in simplicity. By resisting the urge to over-explain, you uphold your self-respect and communicate more effectively. As you continue your journey in personal growth and Stoic practice, let your words be few but meaningful, reflecting the strength and clarity within you. Part 7. Mastering Emotional Terrain. Say no to emotional arguments. Stoic calm is not about feeling less. It's about reacting wiser. Imagine this: you're in a heated moment. Words are flying, emotions are rising. And everything inside you wants to respond, to defend, to prove a point, to win. But ask yourself, win what? Too often we confuse emotional engagement with strength. We think that arguing back, especially in emotionally charged moments, makes us powerful, but in truth, it often makes us reactive, not reflective. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You don't need to engage every time you're invited to battle. When a woman is upset, frustrated, or emotional, it's not always a call for debate. Often, it's a call for presence, for composure. And yet many men, driven by a need to fix or prove something, step into the fire unprepared and get burned. The Stoic man understands something deeper. Emotional arguments don't need to be won, they need to be understood. That doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you don't match chaos with chaos. You stay grounded. You breathe. You respond with clarity, or you don't respond at all. The calm man disarms the storm. Seneca taught that anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. When you match emotional intensity with more emotional intensity, you become tangled in something far from reason, and even further from dignity. So when she's testing your boundaries, when she's saying something hurtful, when emotions swell, don't chase control by overpowering. Find strength in the pause. Say less or walk away if you must, not in disrespect, but in self-respect. Boundaries are not built through arguments. They're built through consistency. You don't have to explain yourself in the heat of the moment. You don't have to justify your truth with 10 paragraphs. Sometimes the most powerful statement is a calm, centered silence, or a clear line drawn with few firm words. That's not how I speak. I'll return when we can speak respectfully. This is not weakness. It's power under control. And that, to a Stoic, is the only power worth mastering. Let your presence be the answer, not your defensiveness. A woman may forget what you said in the middle of an argument, but she'll never forget how you carried yourself when the emotional winds were loud. The man who remains steady, who listens without needing to react, who honors himself enough not to spiral. That man earns respect not just from others, but from himself. So next time you feel the heat rise, choose to cool the fire within. Don't feed chaos, outlast it. And remember, silence is not submission. Sometimes it's strategy, sometimes it's wisdom. But always, when chosen well, it is strength. Part 8. Endurance under pressure. Pass her unspoken tests. Life is constantly testing your inner strength. Relationships are no different. Have you ever sensed you're being tested without words? Perhaps it comes in a teasing remark, an unexpected silence, or subtle changes in her behavior. You're unsure, hesitant, perhaps even nervous, but deep down you feel something important is at stake. And you're right. These moments are subtle invitations to demonstrate your true character. Marcus Aurelius once wisely said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Each of us faces silent battles daily, especially within relationships. These battles aren't loud or obvious, but subtle tests that quietly assess your strength, confidence, and integrity. The hidden tests of everyday life. Maybe she suddenly goes quiet after you've shared an idea you're passionate about. Or perhaps she makes an offhand comment about your appearance, your humor, your goals. In these moments, your reaction reveals far more about your character than your carefully planned words ever could. If you immediately become defensive or insecure, you lose ground, not in her eyes alone, but within yourself. But what if you saw these moments not as attacks, but as opportunities to reveal your true strength? Seneca reminds us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." These small trials are precisely where your growth happens. Why she tests you, even when she doesn't realize it. Women, consciously or subconsciously, test a man's inner confidence to see if he remains firm under pressure. She wants to feel safe, not merely physically, but emotionally and mentally. This safety is anchored in your stability, your emotional calm, and your consistent strength, even when subtly challenged. Your calmness in these moments silently reassures her. Here's a man who can weather storms, who doesn't buckle when the winds blow harder, who remains true to himself. This is what genuine attraction and deep respect are built upon. Stoicism, the power to remain centered. Consider the ancient Stoic Epictetus, who taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Every subtle test you face is a chance to demonstrate this fundamental truth. Your reaction is your choice. Choose clarity over anxiety. Choose calmness over defensiveness. Choose quiet confidence over eager validation. Picture this scenario clearly. She playfully challenges your goals or your dreams, perhaps saying something like, "Do you really think you can pull that off?" A weaker man might crumble, seeking approval, explaining himself desperately. But you, guided by Stoic wisdom, smile gently, holding your center, and calmly reply, "Absolutely, it's worth the effort." You speak with simplicity and strength, unfazed, unshaken, confident. The tale of the silent sage. Long ago, in ancient Athens, a young philosopher faced constant challenges from his peers, testing his beliefs at every opportunity. Rather than react defensively, he would pause, smile, and respond thoughtfully, or not at all. Over time, those around him grew deeply respectful of his composure. They recognized that his silence wasn't weakness, it was controlled strength. Just like this ancient sage, when you face her subtle tests, remember that silence can be stronger than speech. A calm presence speaks volumes without saying a word. You convey a profound truth. Your worth doesn't hinge on validation, applause, or approval. Winning without fighting. Stoicism teaches you to endure pressure by maintaining inner calm. You pass her unspoken tests not through forceful argument or emotional reactions, but by demonstrating your inner mastery, resilience, and steadiness. In your steadiness, she finds reassurance. In your calm confidence, she finds security. Understand this clearly. Every subtle test is not a trap, but an invitation to rise. When you respond calmly and confidently, you're not merely passing a test. You're deepening trust, enhancing attraction, and cultivating mutual respect. Be the rock she can lean on, not the sand that shifts beneath her feet. Your strength lies in your quiet ability to endure life's subtle pressures. Embrace these tests, welcome them, for they sharpen your character and clarify your values. Stoicism isn't about resisting life's challenges. It's about meeting them gracefully, confidently, and consistently. Remember, it is not your words, but your character under pressure that truly defines you. Choose strength, choose calm, choose stoicism. You've got this. Conclusion: the Stoic path to respect and inner strength. You've come a long way today, exploring deeply personal truths about your interactions with women. Perhaps you recognized yourself in some of these points, or perhaps you found clarity on issues you never fully understood before. Either way, remember that genuine change is subtle and internal. It's about embracing wisdom and transforming yourself quietly from within. Stoicism teaches us a vital lesson. Your worth does not depend on external validation, constant availability, or excessive apologies. It depends solely on how you view and respect yourself. Marcus Aurelius beautifully captures this truth. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you shift your mindset, when you value yourself authentically, the world naturally follows suit. Women will respect and appreciate the man who respects himself. You become magnetic not through manipulation or calculated moves, but through genuine, quiet strength and confidence. It's time to act quietly and confidently. As you close this video, reflect deeply on what resonated most with you today. Commit yourself not just to learning, but to practicing these Stoic principles in your everyday interactions. Remember, the journey to self-mastery is lifelong, subtle, yet incredibly rewarding. If this message spoke to you and you're committed to growing stronger internally and externally, do something simple yet powerful. Subscribe to the channel and become part of our Stoic Philosophy community. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins today with this newfound clarity and conviction. Share your insights in the comments below. I genuinely want to hear your story, your struggles, and your victories. Let's inspire each other quietly but profoundly toward a life filled with self-respect, inner peace, and meaningful connections. Remember, how you treat yourself determines how others treat you. Stay strong, stay authentic, and keep growing. I'll see you in the next video.